What is happening, Blades? And welcome back to the Blades Ramble. I am, of course, Jimmy, and this is the warm-up. We're getting ready for our trip to Old Trafford, which is not as intimidating as it used to sound, but it's for a team like us, bottom at league, and bottom for a reason, it still doesn't hold out much hope, does it? We are proudly sponsored by Action Coach Sheffield, and also with this being the warm-up, Triple Point Brewery. Brewery. So thank you to them for being our sponsors today. Very much appreciated. I tried to put their thing on screen then, and it didn't seem to show. Have I pressed the wrong one? Yes, I have. There we go. So we are proudly sponsored by them. Thank you to their continued support for this channel. It's very much appreciated. And I'm hoping to continue those relationships into next season if we're lucky enough to do so. So, more activity. I may have some footage coming soon of some of the developments that's happening there. Shouldn't be long, and it's really exciting. Cannot wait. It's more exciting than what's going on the pitch, I'll tell you that. So, how are we feeling? Are we any better? Any better after that shambolic performance, particularly second half against Burnley? Manager's been very strong. We talked about it on 90 after 90. On 90 after 90, I'm not sure we're going to do one after Man U because it's an 8 o'clock kickoff on Wednesday. It's going to be too late Wednesday night to go 90 minutes. Thursday, you're getting ready to prep for Newcastle then. So we may well just do, like we've done before with midweek games, we might do an extended one after Newcastle and talk about both defeats. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know how you're feeling about things. I personally, I woke up, I did 90 after 90, and I were okay. And I felt better after it, to be honest, like I usually do. And then it hit me. Bang. Next morning, I was fuming. Absolutely fuming about how poor we'd been. Our players like Garbage and Sousa just do not play for our shirt at all. They do. Listen, Garbage, I think, is an ability thing. Sousa, I think, more is an attitude issue. So I'm less likely to go in hard on Garbage. I just don't think he's good enough. Sousa, I think, I want to like him. Like, I like Trusty. Trusty's got a very likable factor about it, but he's not good enough either. Unfortunately, he makes my team, which you'll see shortly, because with that devoid of options. But are we as devoid as... So now, we're at a different phase now. Before, Wilder had to keep some of the players on side because there was a window of opportunity for us to survive. As small as that window was getting, and as unlikely as that appeared, going into the Brentford game, and a little bit less so, but even for the Burnley game, he had to act. And I still think he believed it, that we could get out of it. But he's obviously been holding on to some frustration about these players for some time because he's just let loose over the last couple of interviews. And, I don't think it's unwarranted. He hasn't particularly called out some players, but we talked about it again on 90 after 90. He sort of said that goalkeeper has been a problem position ever since he came to the club. Wes has then come out on Instagram with a strangely timed, if it's unrelated, it's completely strangely timed thing that I will not be, I'll not be silenced or whatever it is. It's this sort of 15-second monologue of somebody saying, I'll be the bigger man, I'll not react. All this sort of thing. I'm sick of biting my tongue. Whatever it was, clearly, in my opinion, a dig back at Wilder, who had basically said it's been a problem position for ages. So, those calling for Wes back in the team, I'll be shocked. But I'm also conscious that Wilder was clearly fuming at Ivo Garbage at the weekend because, well, you could tell, and he's admitted today in the presser that he'd considered subbing him at half-time. So, with all that taken into consideration, it moves to then we get the under-21s lineup today, and there's no Luke Faxon, who's the young goalkeeper, 18-year-old, who's just signed a new 4-year deal. No Luke Faxon in the starting lineup. It's a misser. It's Geordie a misser. So then rumours are running rife in our WhatsApp group in Rambler's chat. Luke Faxon's going to get a call. He's playing at Old Trafford on Wednesday night. Now, I don't think that's the case. I think what might happen, I think a miss has been put in to grease the wheels. So I think it's either a misser that plays, because keepers can play 2 games in 3 days. But I wouldn't be surprised to see a misser start. And I wouldn't also be surprised to see Adam Davies come back in, because he had a game for under 21s last week. So I think all options are on the table. But if it's me, and I might as well give you my team now because we're talking about it, this is the team I'd play, and it might surprise a few. So I've gone with Jordi Amissa in goal. And the reason I've done that is he's not signed a contract either. I personally think we'll be clearing out 4 goalkeepers in the summer. I think Gerbic will go. Darren Smith said something similar on Twitter today, which further sort of solidifies my opinion on that. I think Wes goes, obviously. Not much debate about that. Adam Davies will be free to find a new club, I'm pretty sure. And Missa hasn't signed a contract yet. And it's my opinion that he's not signed one because he's not been offered one. So it's not an attitude problem with Amissa. I think this would be an opportunity, or a last gasp opportunity for him to earn a contract, although Wilder's sort of pushed back on that. Adam Oxley asked him today, have you made your mind up about players? And he said pretty much yes, because even if they put in a worldy performance for the next 5 games, what I'll be saying is, where's that performance been? And that's a fair point, isn't it? But having said that, Jordi Amissa has not had the opportunity to prove that. So maybe he gets a chance between the sticks. I'll be surprised. It might well be Adam Davies, but I'll be surprised if it's Gerbic or Wes in goal on Wednesday. Holgate, I'm bringing back in, and I'm going back with a 3-5-2. I know I've pushed this formation, but I think it's where we are best. I don't know what Holgate did to get dropped. I think if we could drop anybody, I'd be dropping Trusty from this lineup, but with Robinson injured, it's not an option. So I stick with the back 3 of Holgate, Anel, and Trusty. Bogle is my right wing back. As you can see with the flavour of my team here, I want to inject some youth that's going to be with us next season. So I seriously thought about Sam Curtis, but one of the players you cannot drop at the moment is Jayden Bogle. He is on form. I still question his defending. That won't change. I think Baldock's a better player than him, but obviously Baldock's not available, and I think Bogle deserves to keep his shirt. So although I'd be keen to see Sam Curtis, Bogle keeps his shirt. Ozzy at left wing back, just because we've got a shocking selection of left wing backs at the minute, and Ozzy's the best of a bad bunch, unfortunately, of those available. I'll come on to left wing back in a minute because I want to talk about something else. Brooksy gets in my team, although I didn't think it was a great cameo from him the other day. And again, like I was saying, if that's what Wilder's seeing in training, then I can sort of understand why he's not been getting in. Let's give him a run. He's going to be playing for us next season, in and around the first team. Let's see how he does. I mean, what harm is it going to do? So Brooksy gets in my team. Blaster walks in. Gus walks in. BBD, I think, has been off the boil last couple of games, if I'm honest, has looked tired and not very effective. But on form and sort of recent history, I think he's got to keep his place. Probably last chance saloon for a starting spot, for a definite starting spot. But I'm dropping McBurney. I thought McBurney was appalling against Burnley, blaming everybody else. Captain my backside. Yeah, he doesn't get in. As soon and McBurney isn't a definite. So let me know what you think about that team selection. I know it's a little bit controversial and it's a little bit leaning towards the younger end. I understand that we're going to Man United, but with nothing really to play for now, we can't even get, it's very, very unlikely we're going to get to 19th. I don't see the harm in giving these players some of the experiences of a lifetime. So that's my team. The other thing I wanted to say was, happy birthday, Reece Norrington-Davies. Not that he'll be watching necessarily, but 25 years old today, horrendous injury record, as we know. I put a tweet out because I've got scheduled tweets like Sheffield United Way have, and club account has from my Blades Ramble account that sort of highlights all the birthdays and stuff and says happy birthday, and it's Reece's birthday today. So I retweeted it from my main account, which is Jimmy Blades Ramble, Jimmy Ramble IT, and said, surely he gets a new deal. And I understand the concerns about the injuries, but when fit, and it's a big if, but when fit, he walks into our team, absolutely walks in, because he's best we've got by some stretch. And we can't just let him walk out for no. But I was amazed at how many people disagreed. And that's, don't make me right just because I said it. I think I'm in the minority here. And that's probably what surprised me more, that I'm in the minority that would keep Reece Norrington-Davies. So would you keep RND going into next season? I think that's another interesting talking point. So let's get into some comments now because we're not here for long tonight. Danny starts us off. Can't see a result from this one, Jimmy. Coventry nearly did him in the cup. Yes, they did. And we aren't as good as Coventry, so no hope there. Just want the season over now, pal. Like most of the team, let the clear out begin. Absolutely, the clear out will begin. And in a sick, twisted way, I'm quite looking forward to it. Now that I've got my head round what division we're going to be in, that we might lose some big hitters, is that a bad thing? Is it a bad thing that Ollie Norwood, who's probably on 35, 40 grand a week, leaves the club if we can get in 2 midfielders on 20 grand a week? Is it a bad thing that Ollie McBurney, who, yes, he's a great character, he's great meaning big, but he's a big character. He does a lot of things well that don't get appreciated. I think his link-up play is very good. His defensive headers obviously get a lot of the credit. I think he must be a nightmare to play against, but he very rarely scores, certainly not on a regular basis. Is it bad that if a 40, 45, 50k a week striker walks out and we can replace him with a strong loan signing? I think we cut his losses on a lot of these players now, so I'm quite looking forward to the rebuild. Dave, good evening, pal. Countdown to the summer. Feel like we should try one or two more youngsters, even off the bench, and see how they get on. Season ticket now renewed. Yes, mate. Yes. So bring on 24-25 with a new and hungry squad. Talking my language, Platinum Rambler, Dave Leary, top man. Badges in the post, pal. He'll be with you very soon. Thank you, buddy. Well, the fat lady's in full voice, says Darren. Roll on next season and reset. Absolutely right, mate. Up the Ramble, up the Blades, and Championship, here we come. At least we have some points to start with. Well, minus two. Get Oni and Makedo on the bench for tomorrow's game. Yeah, Oni was involved today and scored. Makedo wasn't in the squad, which is unlike the 21s. So will he travel to Old Trafford? Maybe get a look in. Very exciting young player. Heard a lot of good things about him. I've seen him a couple of times myself and I like the look of him. I remember him coming to us at United at the beginning of last season and looking very good. I think for 18s then. Shout out us at United. Am I right in saying that if we lose this and the next game we're relegated? Lucas, if we're relegated, mate. We're relegated. So I know what you mean in terms of official confirmation of relegation. I don't know. I haven't worked it out. The one thing I don't want is to be relegated by Nottingham Forest. So we'll see, but it's coming into it. Good evening, Bri. Another one of our Platinum Ramblers. Still of the opinion after listening to Wilder presser that Gerbic and Sousa will be dropped. Could be one or two surprises. I think the same, Bri. I think the same. Could be a surprising lineup. He will not mess about. And I know people have got their opinions on Wilder, and I completely get it. Fully justified that he now splits opinion, especially as results haven't massively picked up. But I can see a change, or I can at least sense a change. And once he gets his hands on this rebuild project, I personally think, and it's only my opinion, we'll see a very, very different team next season and one we can be proud of. I'm really looking forward to it in a sort of twisted way. Evening, good evening, pal. Evening. Ian, good evening, pal. Watch the presser. Sounds as if minds have been made up on most. Roll on the end of next season so we can all get excited again. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Like and subscribe. Thank you, mate. Ian, one of our elite Ramblers and also one of our mods. So thank you for helping us out on the streams, mate. It's very much appreciated. Oh, Bry's team, Faxon. He's going with Faxon. Thinks he might make the cut. I'll be very surprised if Faxon's in. Holgate and El Trusty. Larucci. Ozzy, I suppose Ozzy's your right wing back then. Blaster, Hamer, Brooksy. Burton, Diaz and McBurney. Interesting. Hey, Jack. Hey. David Webster. Good evening, mate. I hope you're well. This hammering is brought to you by Clueless Chris. Sarah, good evening. Come on, Hamer. Do it for us and Cov. Yes. Yes, that can be if that needs to be the motivation to get Gus up for the game. Let's do it. Gus, come on, do it for Cov. I think there'll be a few surprises, Brian. It sounds like he'll let some have a few home truths, judging by his "it will stay behind closed doors" comment. I don't think we'll see some of them again. My personal opinion is I'll be amazed if we see Vinny Souza in a Sheffield United shirt again. We are very thin on the ground in terms of options, in terms of quality, and also in terms of these bloody things that jump up, in terms of quality and in terms of injuries as well. So the fact that he may make an appearance off the bench, I'll be astounded if he starts again, but I don't think we'll see him again at all. DM'd you on X, mate. I'm trying to get into the WhatsApp group. Dempsey, thank you for your support, joining us. As soon as we finish, mate, I will get you in our WhatsApp group. Thank you for your support and becoming a Rambler. Very much appreciated. Don't like saying this, but maybe it's time to let CW go, says Andy. But who knows who else is there? Well, there's a lot calling for Steve Cooper if Wilder's to go. I like Liam Rosenior. Do not sleep on John Mousinho, who's the Portsmouth manager, who's just gone from strength to strength. Really, really good young coach. But I'm backing the man. I'm backing the Messiah. And I think the club will back him also. You have to stick with someone that is going to start this rebuild, because it can't be half in, half out. We saw what happened with Slav when Slav tried to play with someone else's players. They couldn't play his system. Wilder's going to bring in players to play his way, the way he wants to play, the character he wants from a Sheffield United side. And I think we've got to stick with him for the foreseeable. It's long overdue for Clueless Chris to receive some home truths. I'll start. Found out of his depth. I'm not sure which side of the fence you sit on, David Webster. Will you be a little bit more clear on whether you're a Wilder supporter or not, please? We'll get nothing at Old Trafford on Wednesday night, says Eamon. It's a tough place to go into, but not as tough as it used to be. Having said that, we're the poorest team in the league, so I completely agree. I don't think we'll get anything. Must be the players, because it was the same under Hecky. We're just not good enough for the level, are we? The players aren't good enough. I think Burton Diaz has been a revelation, which is a Wilder signing. I also think Gerbic has been an absolute disaster of a signing, which was also a Wilder signing. Blind, admittedly, but he sanctioned it. So you have to take the rough with the smooth, don't you? And I think there'll be big changes. I've been on the fence with Wilder recently, but today's presser has won me back a bit, says Justin. He's come out fighting. Now we're basically down. I like it. Gerbic and Souza gone by the sounds of it. Up the blades, up the Ramble. Yeah, Gerbic will be gone in summer, I think. The only problem is if we have to pay him off, which hopefully we don't have to. But if he's going to go to a club, the thing is, we'd have to. There's issues with players like this who significantly underperform. So we could get a buyer for Gerbic, but they might only say, well, he's got a 3-year contract with you and we're not paying them wages. So we might have to contribute some of our transfer kitty towards funding his wages. And I know that just further sort of stamps how bad a deal it was, but that might take 2 million quid out of our budget for next season, or £1 million. So it's not great. It's not a great situation, but it is what it is. He's been a poor signing. Was a poor performance, though, says JC. It was a poor performance against Burnley. Tom, evening, Jimmy. After Saturday's farce and what CW said, first name I see mentioned is Luke Ayling. Really? Maybe paper talk, but please no. So I saw this link as well, Thomas, and initially my thoughts were the same, if I'm honest. So Luke Ayling, I've always really liked Luke Ayling. I think he was one of those very good in the Championship, probably not quite good enough for the Premier League players, as he was with Leeds and playing well, 28, 29. He's now 32. He's in the last year of his deal at Leeds. He's on loan at Middlesbrough. So he's said his goodbyes to Leeds, really. So we know he's going to be available on a free in the summer. He's actually played very well for Middlesbrough. He's scored a goal and he's got something like 6 assists because he's quite an attacking fullback. I picture him in a similar mould to... He's a bit of a blend between Bogle and Baldock. And I know you might think that makes the ultimate fullback, but I don't mean he's got all of Bogle's brilliant qualities and all of Baldock's brilliant qualities. I just think he's probably a slightly better defender than Jayden, and a slightly better attacker than George, but not as good as them as the strongest qualities. I also think he lacks pace a little bit. Where I see this as being potentially a smart signing, and the thing is, we're going to have to be very careful with our money, which, we know there's a deficit, a significant deficit that we'll be working to. We need leaders. He is a leader, a big character in the changing room, and he's coming for nothing. He's got promotion experience. He's been a captain of Leeds United. I see him fitting quite neatly into the right centre-back role. Maybe not a starter every week, but as a squad man and a decent option, I don't dislike it the more I've thought about it. So I can see it. I don't see as many drawbacks when I think about it as I initially did. But let me know what you guys think. Man Mountain, good evening, pal. Put some of the kids in, play with both eyes on next season. Young and fearless at Old Trafford, play 3 or 4. Give us something to get excited about. Arblaster, the king of the kids. Imagine. Oh, brilliant. Rob, good evening, mate. Got to go 3 at the back and play more of the youngsters. Give them a run out to find out if they can step up. McAtee, Sousa, Gerbich, Fodders wouldn't play again. Yeah, McAtee's been really disappointing as well, hasn't he, recently? I won't be sad to see him not play again, which is awful to say, really, because he's a quality player. He's just not playing with the same oomph that we need him to. Jack, how am I feeling? Vinny's still bad. Questioning why Holgate wasn't played, and trusting maybe better with a stronger, with more support. Let's hope so, mate. Let's hope so. Sarah likes a misser, but in my opinion, he's nowhere near good enough from what I've seen. Got to be Wes. Oh, I don't think it'd be Wes after that Instagram post. And to be fair, I'm not saying it's Wes's fault, because judging from Wilder's initial answer in the presser, it was never going to be Wes. Coming out with, I think it were Gids that were asking him from Radio Sheffield, is there a chance that Wes Foderingham got recalled? Well, we'll have to think about it. We'll have to weigh up his options, because goalkeeper was a serious problem for this football club when I arrived. That's digging somebody out in it. That's a sly dig. It's a blatant dig. All right, pal, says Jamie. Just got tickets for Man U and Newcastle. Not looking forward to them. Only going for the drink. Yeah, have a good time, Jamie. Hope you just enjoy the experience, because we're not going to expect a result, are we? Andrew says, evening, Jimmy. Why not give Adam Davies? Surely he can't be any worse. Yeah, I think there might. I think there's a stronger chance. The team I show you is the team I would play. It's not the team I think he will play. I think there's a strong chance Adam Davies starts this game. I'm still confused on why Holgate was dropped when he was supposed to be signing first teamers. I just think he was confident that we could go with 4 at the back and be a bit more attacking against Burnley. And as we discussed the other night, had we got those 2 or 3 goals in the first half hour, it's a completely different game, and he looks like an absolute genius. But I agree. I think Holgate is part of our strongest 11, and I wouldn't be sad to see him return next season. BBD shattered. Yeah, I agree. Any chance Holgate has told him he's not coming next year, hence the benching? I doubt it, mate. I doubt it. Yeah, I've still holding out some hope that he's here next season, but may have been the case, may have been involved. Looks like my shout about Wilder wanting Ayling might happen. Alan Nixon says he wants him for next season. Yeah, as I say, I won't be completely against that. It's not one that gets you out of your seat, is it? It's not one that gets you super excited, but I think it's quite a smart one, if I'm honest. We got nothing to lose, says Nick. Good evening, pal. One of our newest Platinum Ramblers. Thank you for your support, mate. We might as well try some youth and players that don't usually get a look in. Why not? Absolutely right. Yeah, Sarah says if Holgate's the reason he's not coming back, is the reason he's been dropped. Very petty if so, but it's a possibility. Boxcar Jackson says Faxon. I don't think it'd be Faxon. Could be. Larouci, Trusty, Anel, Holgate, Bogle. So you've gone Larouci instead of Ozzy than I have. Yeah. Ozzy, Blaster, Hamer, and Maka just behind Asula. Right, interesting. Does it matter now what the team is? We're down anyway. Nothing matters. I think it does. I don't think it makes a difference to the league position, but I think because there's nothing riding on it, why not give players who are going to be here that experience of playing in the Premier League. R&D, no. Like the team, can't wait for the new broom. Any truth to the rumours of a certain Leeds defender? Maybe. Brooks seems a bit off it on Saturday and all. Yeah, he did actually. Hopefully he hasn't dropped his confidence with barely playing. Yeah, but also if he's been playing like that in training, you can see why he hasn't been getting in as well. So hopefully some minutes in the first team will pick him up again, because he has done okay this season earlier on. Rob, agree that McBurney needs to be dropped. Was so poor again. Got to let him go too at the end of the season. I'd keep R&D, excited for the rebuild as long as we sign young up-and-comers, not the likes of Ayling. I'm excited to see who goes and comes in, says Jack. Absolutely. My son read somewhere there are 18 going. Have you heard anything? I don't think there'll be that many, pal. I think, obviously, the loan players are included in that. How many we got? 4? Maybe 5? So you can take that chunk off. I think the rest are those that are potentially out of contract. And a lot of those have been resolved now, haven't they, with the youngsters signing up. So I would estimate probably about 13, 14 going, and that includes players like Anel, Vinny, Gerbic. So there'll be significant outgoings, and there needs to be. This squad, I was talking to my dad about it on Sunday, this squad has reached the end of its cycle, no doubt about it. Any news about ownership? Has the goalkeeping coach been booted? Excuse me. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. No news on ownership yet. Matt Duke's still the goalkeeping coach. I think, eyes will be on him because goalkeeping has been appalling this season. And he was the one that recommended Gerbic. So he'll be under the microscope, but he's still there. Absolutely agree with you, Jimmy, about the team selection and the R&D contracts. Thank you, Tim. Very much appreciated. Do you think when we go down and rebuild, we'll be better off? You're always better with Premier League money, mate. So let's not kid ourselves that it's a great thing that we're going down, but it's a great opportunity for us to refresh the squad. So I think we'll be better. I'm confident we'll have a better, certainly a much stronger culture. I think we'll have a better team, personally. I think we'll have a better team in the Championship than we've got currently. But also, that's caveated with you're allowed loans, aren't you, as well? You're allowed to have 5 loans from the Premier League. So just because our team will be better doesn't mean the club's going to be better in terms of the long-term health. You still need to go up to get that finance. Clarky, Platinum Rambler, good evening, pal. Made a live one. Yes, you have, finally. Sorry, state of affairs when your best left wing back isn't a natural left wing back, isn't it? Aussie, yeah. R&D, get him signed up. Not just best left wing back, but best left centre back, in my opinion. Up the Blades, up the right. Completely agree. A fit Reece Norrington-Davies walks into this side at left wing back or left centre back for trusted Hunty. It might, if Robinson's fit, you might put Reece at left wing back. You might put, no, you would. I was going to say, you might put Robinson in middle, drop Anel maybe on performances, and put Reece left centre back. But then who do you play left wing back? Yeah. So if Robbo's fit, he's left wing back, but Reece can play either position. Dave will give Norrington-Davies a contract, but still look to bring in a first choice left wing back as well. I would too. I think it's an area of priority in the summer. I think Max Lowe goes. He can't stay fit either, can he? But he's not a quality player when he is fit, in my opinion. I think if us, Luton and Burnley go down, we will. We'll be in the best shape. We're having to clear out costing nothing. Luton and Burnley will have players cherry-picked and no one wants to buy any of ours. Yeah, but we're getting rid of a lot of ours, aren't we? I think Luton will probably be in better shape. Burnley might be in a sticky spot. I think Luton have recruited smartly where they can, a lot of the players they can keep in the Championship and go again. Ross Barkley will go, which is a blow. Townsend will go, I'm sure. But the rest will probably stay. Burnley will have players cherry-picked. Yeah, they will. CW needs to stay and have another couple of windows to build his squad. Thank you. Bruno, Platinum Rambler. Yes, you're absolutely right, pal. All right, certainly in my opinion. He secretly registered Kieran Bryan and Ollie Burke just for Wednesday night. Stop reminding me of poor players that he's signed, because I'm a Wilder fan, as you know. Blade's got to move quick if we want Johansson. Stoke want him ASAP and pushing the boat out for him as a key signing. As I said earlier, I think there'll be we've gone over time, but we'll get to end at comments. I think he'll be a sought-after keeper. If we can't beat Stoke to someone's signature, we're struggling. But I don't think Stoke will be the only ones in for him. He's a quality goalkeeper, proven at the level, going cheap. So we will not be the only ones in. Would you be open to Hecky returning if Wilder doesn't work next season? No. I'm not a Hecky fan. I were quite clear on that. I think he did a great job for us. He did the job that we needed. We had the best squad in that league last season, and we finished a distant second. Illiman is a Premier League player all day long, and he was playing in a Championship side. Yeah, I'm not a Hecky fan, Lucas. That's just my personal opinion. But I think he did a good job for us, and I thank him for what he did. I just won't want him back. Why would you want Hecky to come back? Oz's note. Why would Hecky want to come back? Sorry. Oz's note. Yeah, he might not want to come back. All of the matters aside, says Sarah, Wes is the best keeper on our books and should return for the good of the club. He would play, wouldn't he, if picked? But I think those last few games when he knew he were getting replaced, and you can understand it, but you could tell his attitude was shocking. Or I read it that way anyway. Read that United looking at McAtee's brother John, currently at Barnsley on loan from Luton. 12 goals and 4 assists, it's reported. Saw the same report from Alan Nixon, Little Shorty. I'll be amazed. I don't think it's happening. Cooper is proven at Championship level. If Wilder was pushed, he'd be my man up the Ramble, up the Blades. Yeah, Steve Cooper fought Man Mountain. I wouldn't be against that at all. I think that's probably my shout as well. How much do you think Wilder will be allowed to spend next season? Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Please like and subscribe. Thank you, Chris. I think it all depends on the outs. I don't think there'll be a lot to spend initially. I think if we do some big outs like a Nell, Souza, then I think there'll be some money to spend. And I think that's what will happen. Spenny, though, Cooper is more likely than Johansson. Mike Cooper. There's never been a link to Sheffield United with Mike Cooper. It's just us, and probably more specifically me, blabbing on about him because he's a very good goalkeeper. But I would say Johansson's probably more likely than Cooper that we sign him. I'd just prefer Cooper. Cooper would be incredible, but has injury issues. No, yes, he does. He's had 2 significant injuries that have kept him out for a while. Wilder keeps saying he and the club wants to focus on the medium to long-term future of the club. Is bringing 5 loans in a good idea? It's a short-term fix to an issue that needs addressing now. I understand the point, Scott. You've got the Premier League have players that are so much better, even in their 21s, that are so much better than the Championship. You look at the plethora of talent that's out there at the minute doing the business. I can't name any off the top of my head because that's standard, isn't it? But you've got to take 5 better players for your first team than you could get anywhere else, because they pretty much come in, not for free, but we'll cover their wages and there'll likely be a fee. But you've got to include those loan players. And the example I would give is Morgan Gibbs-White when he was with us. And I don't just mean because he was sensational on his own, but the influence he had on a young Illiman Ndiaye. Can you imagine a really cultured midfielder coming in and working alongside Arblaster and Brooks or something along those lines? I think you sometimes need better players to make your players better rather than just go with what we've got. But I understand the concerns. I get what you're saying. Excuse me. My team, says Rob, is Davis, Ozzy, Trusty, Anel, Holgate, Bogle, Hamer, Blaster, Brooks, Asula, BBD. Same as mine, I think that. Bring on Peck, Curtis, Macedo. Yep, not against that, Rob. Was getting double vision of a certain Senegalese lad when I first saw Macedo. Oh, yeah. I was concerned about hyping our Blaster up too much. That is ridiculous to compare Macedo to Ndiaye, but I see what you mean. Tricky winger, likes to take on a man. I think if we could get Walker, if we come straight back up or next season. I think he will return at some stage if we're in the Premier League, but he'll not be the player he is now. Gus going to score at Old Trafford for Coventry, and O'Hare's going to come to the lane next year. Dylan, I want some of what you're drinking, mate. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Don't get our O'Hare hopes up. No, because he won't be coming to Bramall Lane. He'll go Premier League, I think. In my mind, he's already at Forest replacing Gibbs-White. Oh, dear me. Right, on that bombshell. Let me just finish with a score prediction. I'm going to go... do I go head or heart? No, I'm going to go 2-0 Man United. unfortunately. I don't like predicting losses. I never do, but I've got to be honest with you and what I'm thinking, Hunter. So let me know your score predictions down below. And thank you again for jumping on and having a chat with me to prep us for this Man United game. We'll be on afterwards, probably the day after, probably Thursday, but that'll be more a Newcastle prep. So join me then. But for now, come on, you red and white wizards. Up the blade!
Ramble on! Gustavo Roma into the top corner.